I'm Sivadass, working as a UI engineer at UB. So let's get started. Why I want to talk about the Astros or island architecture first. So this is the way I just want to convey from this presentation. Nowadays we are having lots of frameworks to build single page application. The way of building SEO friendly websites these days is actually pretty much. There are lots of meta frameworks on top of all the current frameworks. So this is also one of meta framework that's called Astro, which is enables us to build SEO friendly multi-page applications with much learning curve. We can just make use of HTML and CSS and build easily search friendly websites actually. So this framework is actually mainly pretty much suitable for content heavy websites and developer documentation, which is easily scrollable by Google. Those kind of things we can make use of this. So yeah, most of us know actually what is the single page application and the multi-page application. So the single page applications, the client will get loaded first, and then all the routes are downloaded. All the assets required, bundles required for the application will get loaded after the initial page load. So it will be a bit heavy to boot up the initial application. But in case of we just render whatever the contents required for the page. That's it, not the contents required for the other routes. To make it simpler, only we this framework, this Astro comes to the play. So Astro says actually these are these are all the things actually which is its concept kind of. It's built for the content focused websites, and it's SSR first API design, and it ships 0.js by default actually. If we take a build out from the Astro, it will strips out all the JS required which we are requiring in that page. It will just generate the HTML and CSS required for that. So in that case, that is what making the Google to crawl the contents without loading the JS actually. And it's easily deployable. It's not having the vendor locking to deploy the code just like Vercel next we have, right? And it's UI agnostic. We can be able to make use of we can make use of React components. If you are having a nice looking a carousel component in React, we can import it and make use of it. If we are using some other another component in Vue, we can import it and make use of it in the just static HTML website. And yeah, it's SEO optimized. So how Astro achieves the speed? Speed is one of the advantage of going with Astro framework. So how it achieves the speed by stripping out all the unnecessary or overall all the JS required for the initial load. And the second one, it's introduces a concept called Astro Island. Let's see what is that Astro Island means. So Astro Island, it was first coined by HC's front-end architect in 2019. So what they mean by Astro Island is like actually, let's assume we are having an HTML page. So whatever the non-interactive elements we have, right? The text, images, all these things are a sea of elements. In those sea of elements, we will have an island of interactive component. That's what we call an island of that interactive component. That may not be required on the initial load, but for the initial, to make that page crawlable by search bots, actually we might not have to render that island on the initial load. We can render it later, or we can render it once all the required elements are rendered. So that's what they call as an in the sea of static HTMLs, interactive component is what they call the island. Okay, So this island can be with respect to Astro, we can build this island in any framework. Actually, we can write it in React Vue or anything. So how does it achieve this thing is called, we know that iteration, right? So React, uh, how the React SSR works. So it's doing the same thing. So it's making use of that selective iteration, or it iterates partially whatever the interactive components we have. And it might look similar to micro front end. Actually, we might have an interactive components or interactive modules, but it's not actually. It's why I'm saying it's not. It's actually this micro in micro front end we have that module deployed separately, but here it's not. Actually, we are just having the control of when it has to be rendered. That's what we do here. So this is the concept of the Astro Island. So let's see actually how to work with the Astro Islands in Astro actually. So before stepping into the Astro Island, we'll see what is the basic syntax actually. Learning curve of Astro is very much simple. It's having a pretty straightforward syntax actually. Each Astro component or Astro file has two parts. The first one is the component script, and the second one is the component template. In the script part, we will write all the JS, import JS, and all the logics and all we can write. In the template part, we will be writing the HTML and all the CSS required. That's all. So they are calling calling it as a code fence to fence between the script and the HTML. This is the basic syntax of Astro component. You can in the template part you can write it in whatever HTML you want to have. In the script part we can be importing all the modules and write the JS logics. So how we can achieve the that Astro Island of an interactive component. So is it fine? So for that, actually, Astro gives us something called template directives. There are client is one of directive which is present in the Astro, which will be in this format of x colon y. Actually, that x is that the directive type which we are using, and the y is that directive. What is the type of the that directive? So in that type, actually this client part is what makes us enabling us to have the islands in the existing HTML page. So in this client actually it has four options. The one is load. That load, what the load will do is it will make the component visible on the initial page load itself. And then idle part, the idle option, what it will do is it will wait until the initial load. It will wait until the existing HTML and CSS are loaded, then it will load that. And visible option, what it will do is it will be wait until the component is visible on the viewport. And the media part is actually we can be able to write the media query on based on that media query, the size of the viewport, it will just render. So in that case, we can render a component only for mobile and only for desktop also possible. Okay, so we'll see a demo. Actually, it's when we are giving these directives, how the HTML is rendered on the screen.
Is Astro Island a client side?
Yeah.
Purely client.
Yeah, clients.
So, like, I have a React application,
Okay.
React.js application.
Okay.
It's a big application. Suddenly, I realized that I need to do SEO.
Okay.
So, can I just deploy that into Astro Island to make it server side?
Yeah.
Without any more code changes? Like,
Actually, if you want to completely import that existing React application into that Astro, is not recommendable. It's a very big, it's a whole application, right? If it's a component or something, you can be able to import. And let's assume you are having an students table, you can import that component and make it crawlable by SEO.
So you're saying take Astro into the React application, not React into the
Yeah, you can't use Astro inside React.
Okay.
In the Astro, you can be in the Astro components. You can be able to import React components, whatever framework components.
And it's not possible to just port.
Yeah. But if you have any modules which you have all the logics already written, you can be able to make use of it in the Astro. Yeah.
Okay. I have some set of MFEs.
What is
MFEs, micro frontend.
Okay.
Okay. So for an example, like home page or what is for example,
Okay.
So I have different MFEs, so it will be combined and deployed in the our server. Okay. This is not the current process. So by using this Astro, so I have imported this MFE as a Astro component, and again, it is the possibility.
Yeah, you can be. You can't completely render and.
No, I'm not saying the full application.
Okay.
It's just a micro frontend, just
Okay.
a small like a form.
Okay. Yeah, we
Then
can.
create account form. Okay.
Yeah.
So like that kind of small MFEs.
Yeah. You can be able to import and make use of.
I have to import as a Astro component.
Yeah, I will show you how we are doing that in React. So this is an already bootstrapped Astro application. So it will be pretty much the folder structure will be similar to Next or something. It will have we have for each route we have to define pages inside it. So I'm having an index dot. It's pretty. Let's first see. Yeah. So we have something like this. Actually, we have a blog now, the initial page. At the end of this page, we have an carousel, okay, which is an a React carousel which I have imported. But this is an Astro application. So let's see. I have just imported future post from components at futurepost.jsx. It will just works with whatever frameworks we are working already. So we don't need to do any specific config for React or whatever. It just works. I just created an JSX file and imported React in it. It just worked actually. So if you see the components featured post, it's a pretty much a complete React component. I have imported this carousel and rendered and exported. So the index file I have just imported the JSX file. Okay, and then inside this static HTML, I have imported the component. It is the same syntax, the JSX syntax we use in the React. So I have imported it, and I have given the client directive with visible. So what the visible will do is it will get rendered on the initial page load itself. So let's. So this page is loaded. If you see in the HTML, here we have the Astro Island. Yeah. Able to see now? Okay. So here we have the our Astro Island. It is having the contents present in that each slide actually. That carousel items, the whatever the text content which we had, right? So it has rendered on the initial load itself. Now I am going there and gonna change this. This is to I don't think ideal we can be able to, as this page is not heavy, right? So it will get loaded as soon as this page is loaded. You will see,
Go to the network and the center. It is
yeah.
no 13.
Here, if we see, it's idle. In this case, the component, the JS file required for the carousel. I think it should be.
That's option, but no throttling. Change this slow 3G, so then the page speed will be.
Yeah, just this order should be enough actually. So if we see, this is the React responsive carousels JS bundle actually. So it is just loaded on the as a last asset.
Got it.
Okay. Now I'm just changing it to visible. So currently it is in visible. So whenever this component is actually visible on the viewport, then only this modules assets are get loaded.
Okay.
So if I make it as load, this the carousel assets are loaded initially itself.
What is the difference between ideal and the load?
Idle,
And load.
what idle will request for that assets in whatever the order the elements are placed. Okay, what idle will do is it will load all the elements first, whatever which is in the order. It will load that idle element last in the last of after.
I think all the DOM is rendered and
Yeah.
then everything is settled down, then it
Yeah.
loads it in the background, things like that. Right?
Yeah.
One more question is it like the component is on build time itself is like converted to JavaScript fully? Like because like it's all in JSX, right? The
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
So in build time itself is converted into fully.
Yeah. Actually, it will when we do the build. Actually, it will just create a static build of it. So this will work if we are having a static website or a website with. If we know that it will just have a number of pages. In that case, we can build the static build. So, but if we have an dynamic pages, it can go anywhere. Means then we have to make use of adapter. Actually, it is giving adapter for each platform. So Netlify or Vercel, or if we have to deploy it even with our own Node.js, it is providing us the adapter. We are if we configure that, then this dynamic generation also possible.
Okay. So is it a very thick layer between Astro and React, or is it like a thin layer only? Like because like,
Yeah, it's just a thin layer. Actually, it's irrespective of the framework, you can be able to make use of this in Astro.
We can include components from different
Yeah.
technologies like Vue component.
Yeah,
also
Vue, React, Solid, water,
in the
everything.
same page. We can
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Okay. If I am importing the Vue component,
Okay.
then Vue library also need to load, right? Like in
Correct.
that package is also there.
Yeah. It will generate that bundle and it will load it at the right time.
Okay, so we have to pass the bundle to along with the component.
Yeah, when we are taking the initial static build, right, it will just get that whatever the static HTML, the text or the images present in that build. But based on the directive, it will load for that library. It will load that library. If that component comes to viewport, it will load the view, and then that views one of any of the library which we have used, it will be loaded next. But even without requiring the view library and the views the component, it will your HTML page will have the contents present in that component.
The content is coming from the dynamic.
If it's dynamic, we have to configure that adapter. That's also possible.
Does Astro use web components to load these items?
Web components part actually I haven't explored, but I have seen Vue, React, Solid, everything.
No, because these islands are like part of your page, right? And
Yeah.
you go to inspect element, they have their own custom.
Yeah,
type
it's
of
web
element.
component.
Do they use like web component to achieve it? Like, just fascinated by the way how they are achieving it. Right?
Yeah, that's what I tried to dig deeper on that, but I didn't find any relative articles explaining them actually. So we'll do in my next presentation. Yeah.
What is the correct use case? When can we use Astro?
Yeah, we can whatever if you are
Static site generation.
yeah, if your website is content heavy,
Ah.
if it's an documentation page of React you are building, or if you are building a career page which has to be crawled by Google or anything, and if you are building an e-commerce page,
Personal blog.
Like a
Yeah.
real estate. But I can build it fully in Next, or fully in Vue, or fully in.
yeah, if you are doing that,
When will I need to bring all the small components and put it in Astro? That scenario I'm asking. Okay.
actually the thing is I work with Next.js a lot, but whenever I have to deploy, actually, I have to depend on them actually to really take the benefit of the Next.js actually. But in case of this Astro, I can deploy it anywhere. It's not having that vendor lock-in actually.
One more use case is, let's say you have a lot of components already.
Like carousel they have shown, no?
Yeah.
Suppose there is a component that's available only in, let's say, Vue,
Yeah.
not in React.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, so because React and all these things have a rich ecosystem, Astro will not have, so good use case.
Yeah, these are all the things which I think actually blogs, documentations, career portals, all these things.
Is there any way to share data between the islands?
Yeah, it's having a package called Nano Store, which is just like Redux or whatever MobX.
State management.
Yeah,
Global state.
yeah, we can share the state between pages and components.
what build tool is it using when it generates?
Yeah, Wheat is what is used. Like I saw that in.
Yeah, I also saw Vue. I just wanted to confirm. I was wondering whether, like, see, they claim that it is JS free by default, but if I'm using, say, a React component, like a carousel, then React will go in. No?
It's not loading on the initial.
Okay, at some point it will load, React.
No, it's the concept is actually we have to ship the whatever we are seeing on the screen, which has to be seen by the search bots also. But with JavaScript, if you render it with JavaScript, search bots can see that, right? That part is what Astro is actually achieving. Yeah.
So I think he's saying that it's pre-rendered. So when he's building itself, it's rendering the HTML.
Yeah.
Interactively, right?
Yeah, you need JS.
No,
At some point, yeah.
But what I was saying that JS will still come, no?
Okay.
Yeah. If you have.
Won't come in the initial load.
Yeah, that's not
Which is
required.
okay, JS is needed for interactivity, but React will also come. because we are including React.
Yeah, React will only get loaded when that component comes to visible. Actually, it's based on the config.
Okay, yeah.
But he said it's a very thin layer. That's what I asked him. That's right. Astro and React is very thin layer. He said.
So if you're using React, Vue, Solid, everything in one Astro project, in one lab.
All of them will come.
Actually, your whatever the component will load, you have the complete control of when your component should get rendered on the screen. It will not block your initial page load actually.
It is pretty much closer to microfilter, right? Actually,
Yeah.
not a microfilter, but closer to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.